Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
That's what I'm talking about. All of our guests today, including Ross Tucker, brought to you by the Waddling Dog Pub, one of Victoria's favorite local watering holes, located 10 minutes from the ferry terminal. The two-time #1 pub in Victoria invites you to see why they are a go-to watering hole. The Waddling Dog Pub has welcomed back the Canucks and the NHL season by extending their hours, so you don't have to miss any of the action, Rick. Come sit and stay until the final whistle as we bring in from the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, Westwood One and CBS Sports. Ross Tucker, how are you, sir?
Awesome. How are you guys doing?
Very, very well, very well. Before we get heavy into the NFL, into football, a question. This is from yesterday's show, our show yesterday, Ross, and in question is the name of a Pennsylvania river. Have a listen.
We're going to Pennsylvania. I don't know the lakes and the rivers in Pennsylvania, but I'm going to give this a shot, Donnie, Central Pennsylvania, as soon as Ryan gets it up. Look at this. Former Vancouverite and avid listener, thanks to my best friend and local avid listener, David Chessman, I live about 20 minutes from Ross, and I'm here at the
Ross Tucker.
Yeah, Ross Tucker, that's right. I'm here at the Susquehanna River waiting for him to pick me up.
How do you do, Ross?
Come on, let's hear it.
That was awesome.
Okay.
That's awesome. So somebody that watches or listens to you guys lives on the other side of the Susquehanna River.
Susquehanna
River. It wasn't that terrible. What I like about that, Rick, is you've got some street smart to you. You had no idea, so you kind of did that. You could have mumbled. You could have Belichicked it a little bit more. You should be like, Susquehanna. Yeah. Susquehanna. Like, that's how you do it. If you're not really sure.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a Susquehanna River.
Yeah. We brought that up yesterday. It's like a broadcasting lesson, like George Costanza did in Seinfeld. Hey, Ross, I got to ask you this. You're an offensive lineman. Tom Brady publicly scolding his offensive lineman in the game against the Steelers on the weekend. How does that sort of thing go over with the boys?
Well, when it comes from Tom Brady, it's usually taken to heart, with the exception of the fact that Tom Brady has not been all in this year, which I think makes it harder for him to do some of these things. Yeah. I think it resonates with the guys when you know that the guy you're talking to is putting in all the time you are and is as all in and as invested as you are. Well, Tom missed 10 days of training camp? He missed the walkthrough Saturday. I mean, I don't know what they did in their walkthrough Saturday, but every team has a walkthrough on Saturday, and maybe if Tom had been at the walkthrough, maybe they could have figured something out or not and not had as much pressure. So I don't think it's a great look for him, especially when it's a weekend where Friday night he went to a wedding in New York, surprise wedding, which I didn't even know those were a thing, and then skipped a walkthrough on Saturday. I don't think it's a great look for Tom. I really don't.
Any memorable moments like that for you during your career when a quarterback scolded you or your offensive line mates?
Yes. And I don't think I said this anywhere else. 2003, playing for a team. You can probably look it up. The quarterback came over and he wasn't scolding us. He was just trying to be fiery and just trying to motivate us. One of the linemen did not take too kindly to it. When we went out on the field the next series, the quarterback got blasted. I don't know what happened. I was blocking my guy. But the quarterback got blasted, was asleep like a baby on the turf in the middle of 80,000 people. And the offensive lineman, who didn't take too kindly to the fiery speech, stood over him and screamed, "That's what you get. Now maybe you'll shut the bleep up." And the defensive lineman for the other team looked at me, and I was like, I don't know. Think about that. That's a true story that actually happened between two very well-known players.
Initials DB by any chance, Ross?
Well, that was the quarterback. Yeah. Not going to get into who the offensive lineman was.
Yeah.
But, wow, it was – I mean, I got a lot of stories. I'm going to start to put them on TikTok, I think. Someone said I should –
No, save them for us. Save them for us.
Ross Tucker NFL and tell a story. What? Save them for you.
Yes.
I get paid the same no matter what I say on here. I got to become a TikTok star like Rick.
Yeah.
I got to try to find a way to become a TikTok star.
Yeah.
Evidently, all you have to do is do stupid stuff on video, and then you're rich. Rick, you'd be perfect for it.
Thank you for the compliment.
Friend of the show, by the way, Drew Bledsoe. Just thought I'd throw that in. He's been on our show a couple of times.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Friend of mine.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
One of my favorite quarterbacks I play with, 2003, he gave all the starting offensive linemen, including me, 2 plane tickets anywhere you wanted to go.
Wow.
So when I got married to my wife, Hawaii and back, free, thanks to Drew Bledsoe. 2004, he gave us the Motorola Droid flip phone when that was the coolest phone in the world in 2004. It was like $500, and he paid the bill unlimited minutes. It was only supposed to be for a year, but I don't know what happened. Like 4 years later, his mom called me because he couldn't get his credit card off my account because he didn't know my social security number. It was amazing. I literally, after Drew gave us that phone, I called my mom. She answered the phone like this. Hello? I'm like, hey, Mom, why'd you answer the phone so weird? She's like, oh, hi, honey. The caller ID said D. Bledsoe. Since Drew had bought the phones and set it up, the caller ID was still in his name. I should have just left it in his name. I should have just milked that for like 2 years. Just leave it in Bledsoe's name. Just call everybody. I'd like can I get a helicopter to
Hawaii,
British Columbia?
Yeah. Why can't I work with people like that? Hey, Ross, Eagles now 6-0. You've gone on record as saying you feel this Eagles team is better than the one that won Super Bowl 52 not that long ago. How come?
Better players, better at almost every position. Now, listen, a lot can happen in the playoffs. They might not win it all. Even a lot happened that year for the playoffs. The Eagles almost lost their divisional round game that year against the Falcons. They were very fortunate to win that game at the end in regulation. Then Nick Foles went nuts against both the Vikings and the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and they won the whole thing. But you look at the O-line, the linebackers, the receivers, the corners. The Eagles are better at pretty much every position. Doesn't mean they'll win it. A lot can happen. They got to stay healthy for 12 more weeks, 14 more weeks with the playoffs. They got to win the playoff games, but they're a better team. I mean, they have a better roster.
Ross, the lowest scoring team in the NFL, Russell Wilson and the Broncos. I don't think anybody saw that. 15 points per game, another clunker last night. If I was Russell, I wouldn't read the papers in Denver today. They're not kind. What's wrong there? What's got to be fixed in your eyes?
I am stunned by this.
Yeah.
Stunned. I mean, for the first part of it is Nathaniel Hackett's as good as gone.
Yep.
They just gave Russell Wilson that gigantic contract. Nobody else would want him right now. You can't cut him. So they're going to have to try to figure out a way to make it work with Russell Wilson. Nathaniel Hackett, I'm going to assume, has the rest of this year to try to make it work. But if he doesn't, they're going to get another offensive coordinator in there, new head coach. Probably someone that Russell Wilson handpicks and wants in there because they got to try to make it work with this guy. I think it'll get better. In fact, I know it'll get better because it really can't get worse. Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. I thought it was going to be a match made in heaven. Russell Wilson and Hackett's system with those receivers and skill guys. It's been a disaster. It looks like Russell Wilson throwing the ball great, so I'm not saying it's because of any health issue. I don't think he's very comfortable in the offense. I think he's lost a little bit in terms of his movement skills. And what I tell people all the time is a little bit in the NFL means a lot. Like that little bit can be the difference between getting out of there and not getting out of there.
What about the Seahawks, Ross? Do you think they saw something in Russell at the end where they thought, you know what, it's time to move them on, like you said, a little bit? They're 3-3, tied for their division lead. Geno Smith's been fine. What about the Seahawks right now?
I think you're exactly right. I think that they realized some of Russell's deficiencies. They realized, and they could tell he wanted out. And I think they got to the point where they're like, you know what? Let's see what it's like without him. Let's get a whole boatload of picks. Let's get all the cap space. We think Geno could be pretty good, and he has been. The crazy thing is if the Seahawks defense had been better this year, it'd be like 4-2, 5-1. I know they played pretty well against the Cardinals, obviously, but the Seahawks have been one of my surprise teams. Seahawks, Falcons, Eagles. The Cardinals have been surprisingly bad. It's been a big season so far for, what's it called? Birds. Aviation? Something.
Yeah, let's just go with birds. What the heck?
Birds.
Yeah. Hey, Russ, I don't know if you have a story that's similar to this, but are you okay with Sauce Gardner wearing the cheese head after the Jets win in Green Bay? Poking some fun at the Packers and their fans.
I'm okay with him doing it. I'm also okay with Alan Lazard knocking it off of his head. I'm okay with both of those. I think that's going a little too far. That's like probably like one of those baseball unwritten rules. Like, okay, dude, you beat us bad. That's bad enough. Don't act like you own the place. Don't be mocking our fans and us by wearing the cheese head. I think he was just having some fun, thought it was funny, but I don't blame Lazard for knocking off his head either. Surprised that didn't get aggressive.
Yeah. Hey, so New York teams, 4-2 Jets, 5-1 Giants. Who do you believe most in?
Well, for this year, I believe most in the Giants because I think it's easier to make the playoffs in the NFC, and they're 5-1, which gives them a game up. Long term, probably the Jets, man. I mean, the Jets have some really good young players. Breece Hall, Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams, Garrett Wilson. Joe Douglas knows how to draft.
Hey, Ross, we'd keep you for longer, but Rick's got a call coming in from Drew Bledsoe, so he has to take it.
Definitely. Well, it's not me. It's not me, so it must be the real one.
Yeah.
All right, Ross, thanks for this. Always great. Thank you so much.
See you, dude. Susquehanna, Rick. Susquehanna. See you guys.
Susquehanna. Anyways.
Close enough.
Always in the neighborhood.
Thanks, Ross.